It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Obiajilu Ugbo. How are you doing today?
Welcome back, Mariah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I'm doing amazing. I was here yesterday. So after work, I went home. Nothing happened.
Nothing major happened.
Nothing major happened.
Good.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine. I just feel that we didn't really talk about our 10th anniversary. We turned 10 on Monday. Even though yesterday you mentioned it just for a little bit, but I feel that we should, talk about it more today during our banter. On Monday, of course, we know that the events of the nation overshadowed our own day, but we were planning something, starting next week. But we're really excited. 10 years, Mariah. That's not a small
decade,
girl.
Let's call it what it is.
Really excited. Congratulations to the ladies of Your View and TVC as a whole for a fantastic show. So yes, we're 10 years on Monday, but because of the inauguration and the conversations around the inauguration, we couldn't really celebrate. So we moved our celebration to next week. So Monday through Friday, we will be doing various activities towards our anniversary to celebrate. But yes, I was in Abuja for the inauguration.
How was it?
It was nice.
First-hand experience.
I enjoyed, first of all, I must acknowledge my host. I'm not going to mention their name, but they overfed, they took care of me.
Wow.
They gave me a nice place to stay. I felt like luxury. I'm like, what is going on here?
That's the Abuja level.
At the Abuja level. They have a chef that was just stuffing me with food. All my diet. Scattered.
No, you don't diet in such places.
But honestly, it was nice. I enjoyed the activities. There was a dinner on Saturday, the church service in the morning, then on Monday with the Eagle Square, and then dinner. It was just good to just be around victory. Many people felt that this is one president that prepared for the job. He has a vision. He has a vision that we've seen carried out in Lagos State. So many people are excited that they feel that this is right, that they got this right. So we'll see how it goes in the next 4 years. We'll see how this administration works. For people, there was excitement of joy that, okay, we think we got it right. Nigeria got it right this time. Hopefully, to be a better Nigeria in the next 4 years. Looking forward to that. So I'm pretty excited. We'll see how that goes.
Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. It's good. It's great to be back. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we return, look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, let's start with the nation. Stock markets gains 1.5 trillion naira on Tinubu's policy direction. PDP LP open case before tribunal. Petrol crisis trails president's fuel subsidy is gone pronouncement. Acting immigration CG directs prompt issuance of passports. OAU students, are they doing 2 others get death sentence? FG owing NNPCL 2.8 trillion naira, says Kiari. Zenith Bank is Africa's best in corporate governance and finance. Okay, which story are we starting with in the nation?
Okay, so I will start with petrol crisis trails the president's fuel subsidy is gone pronouncement. The president said that fuel subsidy is gone, and with that, they say the nation says depot owners abruptly stopped loading petroleum tankers. Lengthy queues resurfaced, and commuters resorted to panic buying in filling stations in major cities across the state. The vice president also reiterated the president's position yesterday as he resumed office. We have the House of Rep members and the organized private sector also backing the petroleum subsidy removal, saying that it's long overdue. I'll just try and see if I can summarize this. The vice president was saying that the truth of the matter is that either we get rid of subsidy or the fuel subsidy gets rid of the Nigerian nation. Rest assured that our president is a man of strong will and conviction. In fullness of time, you appreciate his noble intentions for the nation. Of course, we have other stakeholders who are not in agreement. We have Labour saying that they find this insensitive, and that in the light of the foregoing, the president should respect his own postulations and economic theories instead of daring the people, as this could be a costly gamble. TUC says this is a joke taken too far. But, so many other stakeholders who are out for the subsidy removal are saying that they think this is long overdue. This is something that in the coming years we would appreciate, because even they've called it, some stakeholders have called it illegal, because this is not something that has been in our budget, and we're spending money that was not even in our budget. So I guess it would unfold eventually how this is.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I took a story inside the newspaper. The Central Bank of Nigeria yesterday said strategic efforts must be made to fortify states' capacity in the management of borrowing, debt recording, public financial management reform, and the development of debt management capacity. So he said this in Abuja at the opening ceremony of the training on subnational debt management performance assessment methodology tool organized by the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, WIFEM, in collaboration with the World Bank. And he went ahead to say that the legal, regulatory, and procedural framework for state borrowing are incomplete, adding that capacity limitations impede the efficacy and efficiency of public debt management. So the plenty English is that states are not able to manage their debts, they are not able to manage their fund, and there are certain metrics they use in checking the states. Said they are not meeting global best practices, most of the states. And they said they had about 13 indicators, including governance, quality, borrowing processes, financial management, and operational risk control. And the Nigerian states are performing below the global average. But they didn't tell us what they could do to improve their performance.
Great. So I have the human interest story. So businessman Dr. Ramon Adedoyin and 2 of his employees at the Hilton Hotel Ile-Ife have been sentenced to death, but to die by hanging, over the murder of the postgraduate student. You remember Timothy Adegoke attended OAU Obafemi Awolowo University. The hotelier, his manager Adeni Aderogba, and the supervisor Oyetunde Kazim, all 3 were sentenced after the court presided over by Chief Judge of Osun State, Justice Oyebola Ojo, found them guilty of conspiracy and murder. They've also said that the hotel should be forfeited to the government. The children of the deceased, their education will be sponsored by these 3 convicts. Maybe they may buy their property or something up until they complete their NYSC. Wow. So they ensure that the deceased family is, at least the children, are well taken care of by this judgment. But it's quite painful to say that the owner of Oduduwa University, he's the owner,
found of his
has found. I mean, well, I know they're going to appeal. I mean, this is just the first judgment. We'll see. I mean, we're sure that he's the lawyers will probably see how they can appeal this. But he has been sentenced to death by hanging. So it's an interesting conversation.
It's a high-profile case.
Yeah, it's quite a high-profile case. But we'll see how that goes. But I'm happy that it'd be nice to see if the family feels they've gotten justice. You know, sometimes it's not enough.
Yes, yeah. Nothing can bring the person back.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Punch. Fuel sells 600 naira to the litre, queues worsen as filling stations shut. National Assembly anti-zoning group condemns alleged plan to arrest Litera and Yari. Are they doing workers' back death sentence in hotel and hotel forfeited? Or your police storm auxiliaries hideout, arrest 78 with arms. Tinubu inherits over 16 trillion naira uncompleted projects. 11 trillion naira spent on moribund refineries in 13 years as reps. And ASU, court okays no work, no pay policy. Okay,
so I'll take ASU. National Industrial Court in Abuja, the court held that the federal government was within its rights to withhold salaries of workers who embark on industrial action. It held that the no work, no pay rule enforced by the federal government against ASU, who went on strike last year, was legal. But it also said that it was in violation of the university autonomy for the federal government to impose the IPPIS on members of ASU, as they reserve the right to determine how their salaries should be paid. So we know that ASU are taking the federal government to court concerning their salaries, payment of their salaries from February 14th to October 7, 2022, when the strike was called off. So it's interesting to hear what the court had to say, because I know that we had discussed this, like, should they withhold their salary because they had gone on industrial, had gone on strike, and should they be paid? Legally, they shouldn't.
Yeah, so the new president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, has officially inherited over 16.29 uncompleted trillion uncompleted projects from his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, according to findings. So they said the project was identified through the National Monitoring and Evaluation Platform, IMAC, which was launched by the former president in December last year. And the former president says that they could no longer depend on their handful of monitoring and evaluation teams to oversee all the vast number of infrastructure projects spread across the country. So what they did was to, because the administration had invested so much in infrastructure, they needed an additional body to help in overseeing it and, create adequate avenue for close monitoring by citizens, which will also help to close some gaps between what the citizens know and what is really happening. And it says, with IMAC, the status of projects, total amounts appropriated and dispensed are now available in public space. So Nigerians can always go to IMAC, platform and look at the existing projects, what has been done and what hasn't. So they went ahead to list most of the projects that are still, not completed, about 33 of them. I'll just take a few here. It said the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which cost about 305 billion naira, and it's a 126.6 kilometer road, is at 85% completion. They had postponed it, said they were going to finish it April 30. That didn't happen. It just kept moving because of all the heavy traffic for commuters on the road. They said Julius Berger is the one handling that project. There's also another project, Bodo Boni Road, estimated to cost about 200 billion naira. That's a 37.9 kilometer road. Is also being handled by Julius Berger. And they listed quite a number that the new president will be inheriting. Now we can go to IMAC and see the status of all the projects.
Okay, so let me take the story on the moribund refineries. So the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on the state of refineries in the country has put together a report and said that the federal government has spent 11 trillion since 2010 in rehabilitating these refineries. So many figures in the refineries, various amount that have been spent at various levels. It says, but from 2010 to 2019, the committee said the nation's refineries were performing suboptimally with the annual combined capacity of less than 30%. Therefore, in year 2019, the NNPC obtained executive approval and shut down the refineries for comprehensive rehabilitation to restore the plants to a maximum of 90% completion. The point is, the refineries obviously are not working at optimal at this point. You can understand why Labour would be upset even when you say remove subsidy. So that's why we have to ensure that monies set aside for rehabilitation is actually done so that people can say we have options. But when the refineries weren't rehabilitated, we remove subsidy, people now begin to get upset. So this is why this article was quite interesting when it was presented at the National Assembly, where the chairman of the committee, Ganius Johnson, was not convinced. He failed to convince the Deputy Speaker, Wase, on why this report was such an important report to at the time. But I mean, it's part of the conversations we're having concerning subsidy removal and rehabilitation of the refineries that we have. Okay, let's move on now to Daily Sun. Don't the Nigerians NLC wants Tinubu? Biafra Day, IPOP shuts down Southeast, 30 arrested in Enugu. Court okays federal government's no work, no pay against ASU. Senate leadership, Kalu in talks with Yari's camp. Zenith Bank names best corporate governance. Tinubu orders DSS to vacate EFCC's Lagos office forcefully taken over. And tribunal admits documents tendered by Obi in defense of petition. Okay, which story are we taking in Daily Sun?
Politics again, but this time at the National Assembly, Senate to be precise. So we have the Chief Whip of the Senate, Ojus Okalu. He has confirmed that he's in talk with the camp of the former governor of Zamfara, that's Abdulaziz Yari, and, the aspirants for the office of the Senate President. So they're in talks to see, they're in talks, they say, and then their sponsors are in talks with each other so that we'll know in the end what we're going to have, if we're going to have a Kalu-Yari or a Yari-Kalu situation. But the former Abia State governor says that he has no plans. I cannot step down for anybody. So he has no plans of stepping down for anybody, but they're in talks, and he says they are two gentlemen, they have sponsors. So the way he explains it, more like these sponsors are the ones really in charge. They're going to talk, and whatever the decision comes out, but that's what they will go with. And he says they're not greedy people, and what's important for them is the integrity of the National Assembly and also to support the president and the vice president in their job.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Daily Sun. I have the story on the arrest, the 30 pro-Biafra agitators who were arrested in Enugu. So about 30 of them, the agitators were arrested yesterday by operatives of the Enugu State Police Command during a procession for the Biafra Day commemoration in the state. According to them, they were on the process of carrying out a march past at the Square Parade ground with their leader, Mazi Benjamin Kalu, in control of the... So then, that's when the police swooped in on them, hurled them into 5 Hilux trucks, and took them away to the police headquarters. According to them, they had on... They went armed. That's the agitators went armed. They had their Biafra Zionist insignia, stickers, flags of Biafra, and flags of the U.S. and Israel. The state police, the first PRO there, said that when contacted, he didn't get back to the newsmen on time. I'm trying to find what he said eventually. But pretty much they were arrested and they were not allowed to continue with their procession. Yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Yeah, so we know that the president announced, talked about subsidy in his inaugural speech, and that caused a lot of panic buying. People were just everywhere. The filling station, most filling stations were locked. They were not selling anymore. But NLC is angry. And they are saying that they are warning the President Tinubu, not to dare the people. This was said by Joe Ajero, the president, in his statement. And he said this is not is an insensitive decision on his inauguration day, which brought tears to millions of Nigerians instead of hope. And he said subsidy removal is ill-timed and violates the condition precedent necessary before a decision is made. And the people are not happy about it. The decision were grave for the country's security and well-being, and so they are demanding an immediate withdrawal of the policy. However, TUC, on the other hand, differed a bit and saying that they just want the president to suspend the plans. They're supposed to have consultations and meeting with stakeholders where they bring a lot of people to the table. So he should give it time and, meet the appropriate people, have conversation, market women, people that it will affect, and see how they can gradually phase into it. LP, that's the Labour Party, jumped on it and also said that we should calm down, or there are going to be more shocks and surprises that are coming, speaking as a voice of dissent. And the reps, on the other hand, said notwithstanding, they are going to back the president's removal of subsidy because he understands that at the end of the day, he's going to pay even the poor people more. But this is, something that we need to belt up and see through. And at the end of the day, we'll all smile for this.
Moving on now to Vanguard. Petrol subsidy removal not immediate, says presidency. Tinubu to DSS, vacate EFCC office immediately. ASU Court upholds federal government's no work, no pay policy. National Assembly leadership tussle. Group raises alarm over plots to arrest Yari and Petera. Adegoke's murders, court sentences Oduduwa Varsity owner to two others to death by hanging. Obi calls first witness, tenders exhibit of Tinubu's case. Zenith Bank named best corporate governance financial services in Africa. Okay, which story are we taking here? I'm not sure I have any news stories.
Yes, I have a story inside the paper. The mother of a 12-year-old primary school pupil, hawking snacks, who was raped in Igbokoda, Ondo State, by a security guard, is crying out for justice. So Madam Joy, the mother of the victim, is calling on the state government and well-meaning Nigerians to help her get justice for her daughter. The victim was raped while hawking puff-puff. She was lured into an uncompleted building by the suspect and forcefully defied. They said the suspect, who hails from Kebbi State, went into hiding and later traveled back to Kebbi State. Yes. And, they traced him. The police actually traced him to Kebbi State, where he was presently hiding, and picked him up. So while Madame Joy was narrating her ordeal, said the incident happened in 2023, May 19. The daughter arrived from school on that day and told her she wanted to go and hawk puff-puff because they needed money for school fees. She came home after an hour after selling that one, ate, and went back to hawk again. And when it was getting late, she said she told one of the sisters to, trace her and bring her home. But by the time she got home, a few minutes after 7 p.m., he said when she got to the house, she saw her and knew something was definitely wrong with her. But before she could narrate what had happened, she fainted and she was revived in the hospital. And that was where she told them about the aboki that, you know, had his way with her. And then the matter has been in police. They've been trying to launch the manhunt for the suspect, and they are saying that he would definitely face the wrath of the law. Just
okay. So there was this issue between the EFCC and the DSS. So the President Tinubu, yesterday directed the DSS to immediately vacate the office of the EFCC in Ikoyi. The operatives had laid siege to the Lagos office of the EFCC and prevented personnel of the EFCC to go into their offices. The President gave the directive when this report was brought to him. He said that these are two important agencies and issues must be resolved amicably. According to them, they have shared the same office for 20 years and they've never really had any issues. But in recent times, between the EFCC and DSS office, they're having issues in Lagos, but the President has asked them to leave that office for the EFCC. Okay, let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune, our last paper for today. How much time do we have? Let's find a story we've not taken. Nigeria spent 11 trillion, I took that already, on turnaround maintenance of 3 Moridon refineries between 2010 and 2020. Auxiliary escapes as police arrest 78 suspects, recover arms, ammunition during raid. Court upholds federal government's no work, no pay policy against ASU. Labour talks tough, queues spread, petrol prices rise. Yeah, any story? Taking most of the story.
Yes. Oh, Ibadan said about 78 suspected members of Oyo State Park Management System, PMS, have been arrested by the State Police Command over violence. They recovered items from the suspects during the arrests, which included guns, 724 live cartridges, 25 cutlasses, 7 jackknives, 33 mobile phones, 1 laptop, charms, 2 vehicles, and over 3 million naira cash. They said that Governor Seyi Makinde on Monday, through the Chief of his Staff, Otumba Shegun, announced the dissolution of the PMS, which was headed by the former NURTW boss, Alhaji Mukaila, popularly called Auxiliary. So while they were addressing journalists in Ibadan and parading the suspects, according to the police command headquarters in Eleyele, Ibadan, the Commissioner of Police, Adebowale Williams, said because the police is actually very proactive in nature, they found and they got an intelligence that there were people who were ready to, create a carnage and civil disturbance, and because of the dissolution that had happened with the PMS, and so they went around and raided the place, coordinated the raid. Said the location was at Diamond Hotel, Alakia Isebo, under Egbeda local government area of the state, and they found 78 suspected hoodlums who they had perfected plans to unleash mayhem in the early hours of today. And, they were picked up and said they found a lot of ammunition, which I had mentioned earlier, with them. And so this is a warning to anyone who is trying to cause any form of harm in that area, that the police is out there to get them, and justice will just be served.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll bring in our guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
In the papers earlier, we saw that NLC has already come to say the president is daring the people. What are your thoughts? We'd like to open our phone lines early to understand what Nigerians are saying concerning the pronouncement of the subsidy, saying by the president during his speech. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so I was seeing a video, I think it was former Minister Fashola was trying to explain to Nigerians. There are two parts of this subsidy issue.
Yeah.
There's the announcement and there's the part of the policy. Mm-hmm. So where Nigerians are confusing it seems, is that they're making it look as if it's based on the president's inaugural speech. But whether we like it or not, subsidy has already been removed with or without his announcement.
Yeah.
And Nigerians must be able to make that distinction, that the Buhari's government, before they left, had ensured that subsidy is not in the new budget. So by end of June, they announce so, they don't announce so, National Assembly cannot pay. So it's either the president even to say at all, he didn't mention it, just say let's go according to what is in the budget. Or they announce, so the announcement has now caused panic buying. People are now trying to hoard, marketers are hoarding because of confusion. So it's a situation where we will still meet at the end of June. Either way. Now, NLC, as usual, started complaining, and they will carry placard as expected. Now, the conversation is the new president ready for this engagement? When he says he will dialogue and not just pronounce on Nigerian people, what does he plan to do? So that's the conversation we'd like to have. What are your thoughts on this pronouncement? Is beyond, is more of a policy change, not so much of a pronouncement. What are your thoughts when people are saying, oh, because they're now buying fuel? It's crazy. In the last 24 hours, people are queuing, and it just went crazy overnight. What are your thoughts?
I got into a heated argument with somebody over this. I'm like, the announcement shouldn't have been made. Everybody's panicking. Why would he be the one to remove the subsidy? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, have you been following up on the stories? Every day we sit here and we talk about how government has said there is no plan in the new budget of subsidy, that it was actually going to be ending in May. From June downwards, there's no money allocated for subsidy. I say it's a conversation we have been having. We had looked at all the options to see, if they remove subsidy, we're going to have to pay the price. The fuel will go up. You see, we're comparing even with diesel. Say, okay, diesel is not a regulated market. We see how it fluctuates up and down. The Nigerians will get to a point where we pay up to 600, 700, 800. We have had this conversation. But so let's not put it on him that he is the one that wants to remove subsidy, because they had made provision to remove the subsidy before his inaugural speech. Yeah. The only thing where I have a problem is the way he said it. Like that, it's gone. And the way Nigerians are, and I will not blame anybody. If you're if you're a marketer or you are a business person, you would always want to protect your interest and yourself first. So when a marketer now hears that, the fuel I have, when it's finished, I will not be able to buy at the price I have bought. What do you expect them to do? So probably that announcement, just like that, shouldn't have been done like that. Probably you would say, okay, because I want to talk about this today in my speech, we are still looking at the options. See, leave Nigerians, they will understand later. We're still looking at the options. We're still going to have consultations, and I will let you know how we proceed on the subsidy. Maybe we will not have this panic buying, but we will not dodge it though. We will still pay the price.
Let me go back to what you said about the speech, because I was at the event and I had the booklet of the speech. There was a whole paragraph on subsidy. There was no way in that paragraph said subsidy is gone.
He used his words.
He used his own words. So it's also a learning curve for the president. There's some certain things you can't just say, because it will have a ripple effect. So if he had just stuck to what that paragraph, because I read the paragraph. In fact, while he was speaking, I flipped through. He said, I hope he's talking about subsidy. And I went to that paragraph and I saw how it was couched. Completely dumb. But he knew, he could feel the anticipation. He just said, subsidy is gone. Now, that in itself is heavy. And as a president, you should know that everything you say, even if you breathe a certain way, it can cause a lot of ripple effect.
So I was going to say that because I also looked at the speech. It really broke it down, and it explained that the funds or investment that's been used for subsidy will be better used in education, health, in ways that will cushion the effect of taking away the subsidy. So I saw that, but I also think it's a first day lesson for our president. Now he understands that every word that comes out of his mouth has a serious impact on the people. On the one hand, it also sends a message that the people are thinking, okay, this person is a decisive person. And if he's decisive, what can I do quickly to protect myself? So that was the response that we got. But, because we've had pronouncements before, we've had governments, administrations before, when they say something, we're like, yeah, they have said it, let us see if they will end up doing it. But this is his first day first day in office, first speech, and people are taking him seriously. So it means that, for me, I hope that the president understands that it means that people have given him something that the last administration lost towards the end, which is we trust that what you are going to say, you're going to do. So even though that it's in the negative right now, it means that you have to be careful what you say, but people are now looking that whatever you decide to do, you're that sort of person that is decisive and will go about it. And hopefully it shows that you have the will, you know, to push on policies. But now concerning the repercussions or the way we have responded, the way we've responded, right, is for business people, I think is normal. Capitalist is out to make profit, and he's going to try and protect his investments and different ways. He will want to make, you know, he will just always look for situations where he will profit. But people are also calling on we the people. We need to understand that governance is about all of us. There is the president, there's the governor, there's that, and there's us as well. We need to all work together. If we put Nigerians in such a situation, we're deliberately hoarding petroleum. We're deliberately refusing to sell petroleum to Nigerians. We're deliberately causing fuel queues. Does that not show
break
that
it down,
that's our
Mariam.
own part
Let's break it down,
Mariam.
Mariam. Let's break it down a bit so we understand. So, for example, I'm selling this to you at 200 naira, right? Because you have made me sell it at 200 naira.
Yeah.
Then you announce that, I am no more giving you a subsidy. So instead of me to continue to sell, I'm saying, oh, there's a possibility I can actually sell this at 1,000 naira. This one, because you used to force me, right? So me as a marketer, instead of me to continue to sell until maybe something is documented and written and to me, I now quickly start selling that 1,000 naira because President has announced that is gone. So it's also with the people, as you've said. But I wanted to talk about...
That's one way to look at it.
That's one way to look at it.
Yes, I'm a business person and I know how this works. So I've done business before where I sold, and even when the dollar was rising against me, because I had the moral, what would I call it now? I wanted to be a good person. I sold those products at the prices that I bought them, and I made a loss. And I couldn't go back to the market because I didn't have enough money to continue that business, and that business flopped. Every businessman, it's your money, first of all. It's not, you didn't get loan, and even if you got loan, you're paying interest. So it's your money, it's your dream to do business and make money out of it. And that's why such announcements should not just be done blanketly. You must have talks with them to beg them, appeal to them. This is what we're going to do for now. Though we're removing this thing, but we're seeing Shebi Dangote is working right now. This is working. That will help you cushion the effect.
I think those conversations have been had with your
No,
thank you.
Like,
So
there's nothing the president wants to say now, and they've not heard. But I'll come to you. Wolabi for my brother has been holding for a minute. Come on, Wolabi. Hello, you're live. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. For the fuel subsidy removal and its support, but the way Mr. President played this thing is absolutely wrong. I'm sorry to use that word. Ever since the president is president-elect, if you notice 5 filling stations on your street, you will know that it's only one person that is selling fuel. They are waiting, patiently waiting. Immediately the president made the announcement, I just have to quickly drop down. I saw the lot of queue, less than 10 minutes. This is like a time bomb that people are waiting for, like, it's just quick. Do you know, I bought this fuel for 500 naira per liter yesterday. I still have to pay 1,000 naira on my car. Now, the Aboki refused to buy dollar. That is yesterday's issue now. This is the kind of pronouncement you want to make, that we are still looking at the dollar rate that makes Mr. President said that he's revealing this thing going downward. But you need to resume the office, call the downstream and the upstream marketer, have a talk with them. This is what is on ground, but not on the, at least almost all Nigerians are waiting on the speech of Mr. President that Monday. For you to make the pronouncement in front of us is just like rubbing it to our face.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wolabi. So you're talking about that before his call came in, you know, the fact that people should have talks and dialogue, which is important. Yes. But don't you feel that we've had a lot of these talks for so many years, even since Sanusi's time, we have been speaking about this conversation.
What do you now expect the marketers to do? To sell at the normal price and then get stranded, they are not able to buy? Because they're going to be selling at the new price rate. They're going to be selling at a loss. So you cannot get tired of having this conversation.
Okay, so a president has going to say something. we're not in an autocratic dispensation. This is a democracy.
Yeah.
It's not just by what he says.
Yeah.
It's about policy.
Yes.
So what the policy has been put in place,
Yes.
and it's going to end in June.
And they have been expecting it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you that you're expecting it wasn't a surprise. Exactly.
But I don't know how to use the manner in which it dropped means that this has come to stay.
That's dictator now.
No, hold on now. This is now serious. He just dropped it like that. Oh yeah, let me protect myself. But what I would say is, in protecting yourself, we shouldn't go overboard. Okay. That's just the angle I'm going to
let Mariam jump in.
Yeah, you can just add a few things on top, not from 185 naira to 1,000 naira. No, that's outrageous.
Let me come to Mariam.
You know what? I think the reason why people took it so seriously, like I said, is because it's a new government.
Yeah.
Our old government, old administrations, remember now they will say, we've taken out subsidy. Then 3 months later, we'll hear, but the subsidy is in another way. But in this case, we're saying, what you're saying, we trust that is what is going to happen. But yesterday when we were discussing it, and we're talking about challenges that are happening, the challenge of this increase in price and the queues that we have right now. And I said, yes, I feel that an administration would take it in its stride, should take it in its stride. And so what I would expect is that they would have they'll put in place things to mitigate it, to sort of sort it out so that it does not become widespread. So we've heard the president, I think we've heard the president say that this was not meant to be immediate. This is something that is in consultation with. Two, this is now the time to send out agents. I mentioned PPRA yesterday. They are the ones who regulate our pricing and, go to these fuel stations. And I hear some governors, I think Kwara State is stopping some fuel stations, insisting that some fuel stations open up and start selling to people. So that is where we'll now come in to make sure the agents are on ground. Governors are, insisting that petroleum would be sold to Nigerians. Now I hear the part of business people. And I even understand the part which is if I sell this at the current price, when I go back into the market, how much did I buy it for? Right. We understand that, but that is where you sit down at the round table. So is it that they did not trust that there will be a sitting down with the federal government, on how to go ahead? But I believe that this government, especially from the speech, says that this is not a time where they are going to just reel out decrees to us. They are going to sit down and discuss and dialogue with us. This is going to be a partnership other than...
Let me take this call from Festus. Festus from K2, you're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
First time caller.
Welcome to the show.
You say it like
now,
I'm happy.
My contribution is, of course, half of the country had already been subsidized. They have already been subsidized. So by the time they're now selling it above the pump price, that means they are gaining from two ends. So, what they are doing is totally wrong. If they are bringing in new consignment, that one we can understand. But whatever is on hand now had already been subsidized by the previous government. So they are only cheating on Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you, Festus. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the president's pronouncement that subsidy is gone. There was a word Mariam used earlier. She used the word, trust. And that's a very, very important word in this conversation because we need to understand the value and weight of this trust, especially because the government is hoping that now that Dangote refinery has opened and will start production, that will begin to get X amount of millions of barrels per month within Nigeria. They are hoping that modular refineries will be more licensed so that Nigerians can own refineries locally. They are hoping that more marketers will be licensed so that we can now open up the competition. These are the hopes of government, and the people must trust that indeed, when these things are put in place, the prices will automatically begin to come down and normalize. But Nigerians don't trust because, just like we read in the papers today, the report was given to the National Assembly that 11 trillion was spent in rehabilitation. Money is passing around, the refineries are moribund.
Yeah.
So people are saying, do I trust that this man that has said subsidy is gone, whatever has been saved will be used appropriately? And NLC needs to also see that trust. So it's an issue of trust. Because I can't build refineries overnight. I can't give these licenses overnight. But somebody must trust me as a president that, you know what, I will get it done. So why is it so difficult for Nigerians to move past this mistrust or distrust of policy and government?
Because of precedents. We have seen how, monies meant to be used has been lavished by, administrations that go and come, and, it's there, it's open. This 11 trillion that they talked about now, for rehabilitation, nothing was rehabilitated. The refineries are still not working. So how do you spend that amount of money year in, year out to rehabilitate what is not working? So what exactly did you change? What exactly did you bring new machines? Did you revamp the whole, what did you do exactly? So these are questions that we need to ask. They need to present to us exactly how they rehabilitated with 11 trillion, and yet those refineries are still not working. Were you just paying staff? Did you keep people there and you're feeding them and paying them, and then the refineries are not working? So it's very difficult to trust in that situation. That's one. I thought we borrowed money to help for, my sister helped me, money to help with cushioning the effects. I heard Nigerians were supposed to be paid, some households about 50 million. Yes, that we borrowed, yes. So what's the state of that? These are conversations, and a leader must not be tired of having conversations. Till we get to that point where you can say it and we will sleep with our two eyes closed, believing that you will do it, you will keep talking.
But if you
will keep conversing.
But if you vote in a new administration, it's okay. Yes, I don't trust Mariam more, but I choose to give you my vote. So I'm going to trust you to do the right thing. Is that enough? Is that currency enough for you to be able to make this kind of policies? In fact, should I trust you because I gave you my vote to do the right thing? Let me take this call and I'll come to you, Mariam. Omotayo from Ejigbo, thanks for calling. You're live. Omotayo, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Hello, my name is Alawo Omotayo.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. My point is that, you see, the subsidy of the thing that we are all talking about, government have already paid for it. The government have paid for the subsidy till June. So that pronouncement by the president was just a pronouncement. It's not as if the pronouncement is taking effect from now, and Nigerians know. All these filling stations know. But just to check the statement my other sister said in the studio, that if you want to, you have to prepare for the new price. The marketers have to source for the fund to cushion the new price if there's going to be the new price. The present price they are having in their station has been subsidized for. Government has paid for it. It is not their money.
That's
so
another angle.
It's not their money to make profit off of. Because, that's what we agree. But you were saying something about if the trust, the fact that they voted for him, should they trust that? I think I'm trying to understand the question.
Yes.
Should they
that?
trust
Because I vote, because this is a new administration, and it's coming to say, okay, the former administration has made a policy, there's no budget for it.
Okay.
So I'm coming to you and saying, listen, the money will be judiciously utilized, because that's what all this is about. Real subsidy just means that money I'm paying to all these marketers, I use it to do this. Now, in the past that they've tried it, they did the Shopee funds, they did so many things, and people are still saying the money was not properly used. So the question is, should we trust, because we voted this man in, to do this, to do the right thing?
Well, I mean, that's why people vote in administration, because they trust that these people would do as they have said.
Against it?
And especially, because whether we like it or not, if you're president of a country, it's not the whole world, it's not the whole country that voted for you. There are people who are fully in support of you, believe you're 100% that you're going to do as you have said, and that's why they voted. There's some people who who will be in opposition forever. There's some people who are watching your every step to help them determine how much they should trust you and how much they should support you. And so for me, the mistake would be to do as the former administrations have done, which is you make a pronouncement, you see how people are acting, and then you flip-flop. But everyone is asking that we want a decisive government. So you're going to find those who have said, okay, yes, you've made this pronouncement, we're expecting it anyway, and we will prepare for it. We understand it's going to be hard and challenging, but we'll prepare for it. Then we have those, and rightfully so, who are saying, you know what, this is insensitive. NLC is saying this is insensitive, this is ill-timed, rightfully, I mean, these are, you know, rightfully said. These are criticisms that need to be, that need to be addressed. So what I would expect is that we stay the course, because every one of us know, we've discussed it, we've said it's 11 years overdue. We said it's costing us so much, we are going to lose our country. Yeah. We've said we cannot afford it. Yeah. So what I hope is that we stay the course, but we must respond to those who are saying, how then will you cushion the effect for us? What are you going to put down? The moribund refineries, we have spent so much money on that. Are we going to probe that money? Are we going to punish those who have supposed to have used that money and didn't use it well? The money you are going to, as it is right now, what are we going to put towards these ones to make sure that, you know, they are up and running? Concerning electricity, because petroleum is going to be expensive. Hope power will not, you know, hope power will be available. These are things that will cushion. So hope when I go to the hospital, you know, there will be hospitals. There will be doctors on duty. So those are the things that Nigerians are asking. We understand we cannot afford subsidy anymore, but this money is, where will they go to and how will they affect the everyday Nigerian?
Let me take this call from Israel Bay from Abuja. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Talking about the first subsidy removal, which came up with the inaugural speech of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If we cast our mind back, during the campaign, we all saw all he canvassed. And if you put it by the side of the inaugural speech, that inaugural speech was just a summary of his campaign promises.
Exactly.
And first subsidy was one of those things he said.
Yes.
Previous administration had no courage to go ahead with to remove. Beyond that, the Buhari administration had told us that first subsidy has been removed, and there was no budgetary provision. And this is the man who is coming in, taking over government. The conversation has been on. It has become a sick song, like a broken crack record, that every Nigerian knew that government was going to remove subsidy. I tell you one thing, even if Asiwaju said today, okay, let us wait until September before we remove the first subsidy. On the D-Day of September, when it comes, the same panicky you are seeing now will still come up. So what we are seeing now is a man who is practical and has the courage to go out there to do those things he has promised during his campaign. And you can see down the line in his speech. He talked about collapsing the dual exchange rate.
Right.
These are the things that are going to...
Absolutely, Mr. Izuagwe, you're very correct. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation and open our phone lines for more calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right. Before the break, Bisi wanted to say something. Go ahead, please.
So, you know, there's this comment Sanusi made some time ago where he was explaining how this subsidy is not even working for the poor. He asked a question. He says, do you want to buy cheap fuel or at the detriment of quality education for your children? Do you want to buy cheap fuel at the detriment of quality healthcare? You know, do you want to buy cheap fuel at the detriment of infrastructure that will work for you as a people, businesses? There are a lot of things that suffer because that amount that should have been used for, you know, those areas, you know, is used to pay subsidy. And we don't understand that the rich and those businessmen are actually ripping us off by that subsidy, because government gives them that subsidy, they go to other countries and they sell.
They buy healthcare, buy education with it.
They buy for their children. They sort themselves out. And we are here thinking government is subsidizing fuel for us. We are paying cheap compared to other countries. It's no longer working for us. So at some point, we will get here. And I like the fact that this government, like I love what Miriam said, they should not cower. If they have decided to do it, they must decide to do it and stick to it. However, I would have, you know, before this conversation of is gone, I would have wanted that they put some other things in place so that, you know, we're not feeling the pinch so bad. But now that it's done, can those refineries be sped up? Can the licensing be sped up? Can, you know, those things that we need to cushion the effect, can it be sped up so that somehow we find that balance?
So you can actually legitimately earn the trust of the people.
And I know, wait, let me add a little thing. You know, I know that a lot of people will fight this, you know, subsidy removal, not for the people's sake, but because of what they are going to be losing when that area is clogged off. So Nigerians should open their eyes.
Let me take this call. I think I can't remember the name. Good morning. Are you there? You're live.
Yes, good morning.
Mrs. Ladeji, thanks for calling. You're live.
And everybody.
Yes.
How are you today?
Very well.
How's your family?
Very well.
Number one, the first question I want to ask is that these subsidies that we are talking about, how much does 1 liter at pump price cost to produce? Before we can even know whether there is any need to subsidize or not. From the crude oil on the ground to the pump, how much does 1 liter cost? No government has been able to answer Nigeria over that issue. Number two, those people who have wasted trillions on term, turnaround, whatever, are they dead? Can they not be brought to book? Can they not come out and tell us what they did with the money?
Oh, okay. Okay.
And all the turning around are not from how many years? From about to get to the last Baba that said, what happened? Are they turning anything around? In fact, they are even killing the victims. Okay, look at this. Look at these young people in the Niger Delta. Train them. Let them do small refinery. Refinery doesn't have to be a giant project. In other countries, even a small compound can be a refinery. Train these people. When you train them, license them, let them produce oil for us.
Thank you, Mrs. Ladeji, for your views. You know, I think it was Bisi that was saying the color, the cost of this product. And whenever I think of subsidy or petrol, crude oil, I remember international products. We buy MAC makeup. You buy 1 MAC in Nigeria. Somebody can buy maybe 30 kilo. I'm not what powder. I'm not sure how much it is now. But you see, it's not locally produced. It's produced abroad. You bring it and you buy it that much because it's expensive. So you don't say because, oh, I am buying MAC and it's within Nigeria, I'll buy it for 5K. It is an international product. Same with this petrol. It's not refined here. It's an international product. I went to the UK and my host filled this tank with £80 to fill tank. So somebody now went on social media and said, oh, I just paid fuel for 50,000 naira to fill my tank. Divide that up by pounds. You get almost 87 pounds. Divide that by the cost of dollar. You get maybe $60-something. The point is, listen, it's an international product. We cannot continue
like this.
So let us realize, the same way you're buying that Brazilian hair that is not produced here. You buy 600,000 naira for Brazilian that is not produced in Nigeria. You're buying it. You move the change. Is an international product. It's not Nasco biscuit.
So
it's imported. So the government has been subsidizing your Brazilian hair.
Yeah.
The government has been subsidizing your MAC makeup. The government has been subsidizing all your Gucci bag. All this, and the government is now saying, I can't afford Gucci bag
There's
again.
No money.
I can't afford it anymore. That Gucci bag that you're buying, you know what? Buy it yourself. So we need to break it down. It's not easy. It's hard because, I was going to say that 2 days ago, my husband was stuck in traffic, right? The driver told him that, please, we have to buy you water. He said, I beg, drop me home first. Please, after you get home, now go and buy your water. He now got him. I said, guys, did you guys buy water? He said, the driver has gone. I said, I pity you. Well, it's don't cost.
There's
no funny to your back and forth.
No free fuel.
Wherever you are, plan. Okay, we buy fuel, we go to the market, everything one time.
on the
So
way.
how do we begin to adjust as Nigerians?
Yes.
Because as you say, if they don't
Transport.
cower and it stays, how do you adjust? My son forgot his lunch bag in the buka.
Now go chop
They now
snacks,
called me, man, is this crying? I said, you'll be all right. Because 600 naira to go, I am not going to buy that fuel. Please buy biscuit for him, I'll refund you when I get to school. These are the issues that Nigerians must begin to reconsider.
My fear will soon finish. I don't know how I'm going to come to work next week. I don't know if I'm
buy
going to take
You
work
don't
out.
have to buy it.
Eh.
You buy it because you don't want 1,000 naira. You buy it.
So you see, that's why we're asking for trains, we're asking for other buses, so this is what we're saying. So people will park their cars and use other means of transport because we understand, in the UK, people do that. They have their cars, but everything is expensive. You get on a train, maybe you drive it at the weekend. So those are things that we need to do. But, so that's why the criticisms we're hearing is, what are the other things that will be put in place to cushion the effect of this? Because it will definitely affect, especially the poor. It has helped us. Many people are able to afford petrol, but we cannot keep doing that. Let me read some. Okay,
please go ahead.
Read some comments. So we have John Calvin says, is this a well thought out plan? Does this stop the fact that some people supplied nothing but got subsidy payments? Now that subsidy is removed, what will determine the price of PMS? That's it. What will determine the price of PMS? Since we depend on imports, can Nigeria determine the world price of oil? It's a lot indeed. So that's what you're saying, that these are imported products. There's a price that it comes with, even the logistics. So that price is what they're going to use to sell. They're not going to look at us and say, well, because we got it from you guys, we got crude oil.
That's why Dangote is now producing your Gucci in Nigeria. So you can go, so we're buying international Gucci. Now buy Nigerian Gucci. By Dangote. That's what he's doing. Hopefully, when he now starts producing more of these, your Gucci bags, others now start producing too. We have more people producing the Gucci bags. You don't need to buy the international Gucci bag anymore. Buy the Nigerian version of the Gucci bag. Because sometimes you need to bring it down to where Nigerians understand to get the picture. Let me take this call.
Okay.
Good morning. I have a call from Benjamin. You're live.
Good morning.
Please, go ahead.
You are welcome. My regard to everyone of you.
Yes.
I congratulate our new president. Now, you see, this is what I want us to know. First of all, let us continue to encourage Mr. President on this particular subject matter. He should just go ahead. I can tell you vividly that the issue of this subsidy is all about scam. I know some filling stations that I can, even if you want to do research, I can give you where you can get them. They just build the fuel station there. No truck has never entered here, and they are collecting subsidy. I know some people that are collecting subsidy and they are taking fuel from the depot and they are taking it to other countries that are not even benefiting the citizens. Now, this issue of this subsidy is just we have just to encourage the Mr. President. Now, those people that are, I used to say this one, that this Nigeria, we are not yet matured for capitalist economy. If we want to enjoy capitalist economy, government must be able to put some measures on the ground that if anybody wants to behave according to his own personal instinct, in order to bring hardship on the people of the country. So whatever that has been put on ground, we'll be able to deal with such a particular person. But this country, I see us as somebody wants to live in the affluence of others. I want to make my money by suffering you, by putting you in the suffering.
Right.
That is what is happening in this country.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin.
Thank
you very much, Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, so, let's go back to the issue of trust again. We have seen a president who is decisive, and we're hoping that he sticks to it. And we will be able to trust him when we now start seeing some policies, is it fritter now, away? Like, after a while, after this new administration comes in, they want to change their cars. They want to buy cars. They want to design or decorate or rehabilitate the house, and then we hear billions and millions allocated for this. If we do not hear this, if we hear something like when the cars that were used before is what these people are inheriting to do this work, because now Nigerians are paying the right amount of money for their fuel until we get to a place where we're stable and a boom starts. We can now have that largesse. Then Nigerians will trust. We're not easy to, we're not difficult to please. It's just knowing how to do the right things at the right time and making the pain go round. Everybody just holds their belt and they will work towards the goal. But if we now sit down, all of a sudden we are hearing billions, trillions used for cars, used for this, you see, they've collected our money.
Because that point you made is a very important point. Because what Nigerian needs, what the administration needs, is to buy back trust.
Yes.
You see, that is the #1 problem. There's nothing you say. Once you say government, people turn the other way. Yes. They don't trust. Yes. But the only way you can buy back that trust is when they see that you are walking the talk.
Yeah.
That you're not spending, you're not just frivolously spending government's money. When they see that, people begin to be like, okay, maybe these people are different from what we are used to.
You're serious.
Because it's very crucial. You're very correct. Let me take this call from Alhaji Suber. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much. Moraya, good morning.
Morning, sir.
And thank you very much. My point is this. The pronouncement of the president in terms of the subsidy is totally correct. The president is giving us information, it's just like he's giving us information management, what he meant on the ground. And, he's telling Nigerians to prepare himself. You see, that is exactly what he's doing. The outgoing government, Muhammadu Buhari government has already stopped the subsidy. You see, and he's telling us in line with the budget of 2023, there's no provision for it. That is not exactly what he's saying. So it's preparing our men. Like I said, it's an information management. You understand? So, but what I'm, advising him, what I want him to do with the cause of these unscrupulous dealers in our midst, the subsidy is supposed to last at the end of June. So I will appeal to him to set up a task force, combined with the military, to go to any station that is holding this for before the end of June, so that it will save the license. And more so on the issue of rehabilitation of refinery. You say, please, I appeal to the president to do an holistic, auditing of NNPC, because right from the time of our law, NNPC has started as a kind of exploitation to our country. So the holistic audit of NNPC to be done by the president. No, it should not look back. And in fact, I will advise him to establish a team, in order not to sabotage it. The team is going to work with a reliable team for that matter. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Alhaji Suber. Let's take a comment on social media.
Emmanuel says, how hard is it to see that subsidy removal will cause very serious problems to the already impoverished masses without a corresponding improvement in developmental infrastructure as being promised? He's saying narrative like this gave Buhari government free pass for 8 years on the matter. Yemi Bloke says, I don't think that is right for the marketers to inflate the price because they bought the present fuel at the old rate when subsidy was involved.
I think of Labour, because I know Labour is obviously going to resist this with everything they have. Yeah. And I think to myself, when they were having that policy change, I know Labour, there was a few articles, press releases here and there, but it would have been nice for Labour, because you cannot give the President Asiwaju, President Tinubu, the credit of subsidy removal.
No, of course not.
It's the Buhari administration that actually did this in policy.
Yes.
So when that policy was being formulated, when they finally announced, that's where we should have seen Labour carrying placard. Because now that we are hearing Labour threatening and saying you're daring the people, it's because of an announcement. But this was already been done and dusted by the last administration. It's been done and dusted.
We definitely had them,
resist.
They said that there's policy, there's implementation. Yeah. So policy, and did it very conveniently at the end of his tenure, and then you leave. But now the person that is taking over, definitely he cannot be talking about policy anymore. He's going to be talking about implementation. So they are preempting implementation and saying this would not work unless some things are put in place.
Let's talk about that unless for a second, because somebody said that you have to do this to do that, but they are saying that to do this we need money. So if I remove, I can't do these. Yeah. They are saying you have to do these.
From where?
So that's the issue. Why are Nigerians finding it difficult to understand that they are saying money from here, from this subsidy removal, is what I'm going to use to do. And I just said no. Find those options. But let me take this call and I'll come to you.
I will tell you.
Joke, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning, madam.
Good morning. What I will say is that I just want to beg Nigerians to be patient with the government. They cannot be happy seeing people suffering. I know they will find solutions to it. And I will also beg the marketers, they should do it small, so that they will not inflict too much pain on people. That's just what I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Yeah, marketers.
They should add, but add small.
Yeah. Please, they should take it easy.
Add small.
That's where the Nigerian, that's where the patriotism comes in.
Well,
that's where the Nigerian people, we the people must be considerate of others. Yes, go ahead.
So you were asking where they want government to take money and do something.
Yeah.
And he's saying is when I remove subsidy, that I'll get the money that I'll use. Because we don't trust that government does not have what he says it does not have. We see money being used in different areas. We see, money is being signed, educational systems for the politicians, their children, their healthcare. We see all of that. And then you say you don't have money. Nobody would believe that. But if you can cut down on those to really prove that there's no money and say, okay, we're removing this so that we can handle your infrastructure, give you the healthcare, give you everything that you need to have a basic life. Just have that basic amenities, then we are good to go, then we can trust. But I want to appeal to the government as well. So I know that in capitalism, there's what they call monopoly of business. The very big shots want to take over the space. So now we have Dangote playing that role. That's a big shot. And we are looking to have modular refineries, smaller refineries. We must make policies that we protect the modular refineries so that they don't kick them out of business. Because he can change anything now and then those people are not able to sell their products. That's what this, discourages people from getting into business where they have big shots, especially someone who has been in the game for a very long time. So the government must have those right policies to protect the new people who are coming into that space to play with Dangote.
Let me take this call from Theo. Theo from Marcodi, thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're live.
Yes. First and foremost, this issue of this marketers selling at above pump price now, I think they should be advised. The product they have now, they bought this product at the subsidized rate. Let us finish selling those products before, when they get new product, before we know that it's a non-subsidized one. And then I heard he's going to start from June. So why are they starting now? It doesn't make any sense. And all the people trying to tell us the time is not right, the time is not right. If it is not now, when are we going to be able to assure to remove the subsidy? Let's remove it now. Let heaven fall. Let us know. If we will die, we know. If we survive, we know. Let it not be removed now. There's no point in waiting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have to wrap up on this, but let's take a few comments on social media.
Dejimi says, just know that the Labour leaders are also enjoying the dough behind our back, and that's the reason they're saying it should be removed. It shouldn't be removed. Let's get it out once and for all, and request for open government monitoring by Labour, civil society, and the entire citizens.
Okay, we have to wrap up. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned from this conversation is that everything this administration does from this moment onwards is what's going to determine the resistance or acceptance of this subsidy removal.
True.
People must see that this administration is serious. They're not here for the largesse. Everybody has gone to Abuja now. Hey, who knows this? It's not about that. It's time to work.
Yeah.
People must see that this government will cut down on cost of governance. This government would actually be working for the people. When they see that, if you remove all the subsidy, they will be okay. As you said, the Nigerians are not hard to please.
At all.
So everything with the posture of the president, his utterances, everything concerning Nigerians must be carefully thought through before it comes out, because Nigerians are watching everything you do.
Every move.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, bring in our guests from UNICAF. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.